Go, Busters! Football man! He's in bed. Oh, go, Buster! No, I know where it goes. Not where it goes.
My baby left me on a UFO. She couldn't wait to lift off and go. I couldn't stand to see her cry. I couldn't stand to be the reason why. And all the spaceships flying saucers, still can't believe that I'm really lost. And all the spaceships flying saucers, still can't believe that I'm really lost.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of That's Not Normal, It's Paranormal. As always, Big T here with Dawn. What's up, Dawn?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited. It's time for some get some s'mores out, start the campfire.
Oh, yeah. Another episode of good old campfire stories, mainly ghost stories this time. We definitely have some interesting things to talk about. I want to thank everybody for listening in and all the follows and everything as normal.
Yeah, and a huge shout out before we get going, before I forget, because she'll kick my ass. Huge shout out to Jody. She I work with her and she's been listening to all our episodes. She throws up references from episodes that I'm like, I barely remembered that episode. So yeah, huge shout out.
Yeah, shout out to your friend Jody from work.
Yeah.
Other good news and stuff that we've gotten here recently. I'll let everybody know that Tammy, aka the Bigfoot lady, is doing well. She did have a medical procedure, but she is doing really well. So we're going to get back out here before winter hits. She's going to take us out Bigfoot hunting. So
We're gonna track some biggies so I can get some hugs.
get some hugs or killed. I guess we'll have to take bets to see what happens first. Maybe we should make that a poll on the Facebook page or something.
Probably both at the same time. I mean, if you go
Very
out,
likely.
if you go out in a hug, it's not as bad, right?
I mean, we've watched enough wrestling. You know, bear hugs are supposed to hurt. So I assume it'd be like a bear hug to the max from a 7-foot bipedal ape man
Or ape woman.
or ape woman. For sure, for sure. So I guess what we'll go ahead and do is we'll just get started off here. We'll talk about some fun paranormal things, and I'll follow up here at the end because unfortunately Dawn couldn't make it. But before Tammy had her operations, me and her and a friend of ours, give him a shout out. Old Matt, a friend of mine, he went up with us, and we checked out the Flinderation Tunnel again.
And I don't know if this is real you. Like, what if you got possessed in that tunnel? Like, we're gonna have to come up with some kind of trick so I know it's actually you.
Maybe it's me, maybe it's not. The world may never know.
By the end of this episode, we're speaking in tongues. I hope your mother wears socks in hell. I was trying to think the nicest way to put that.
Oh, it was a good time. Last time we definitely caught more like evidence as far as like EVPs and stuff. We heard some noises and stuff up there. And you want to go ahead and talk about that now and get it out of the way, or do you want to talk about it later?
We got the campfires kindling right now, so go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, well, we went up while I was on vacation, so it's been about what 2.5 weeks ago. We drove up, nice clear evening. We did. This is a story, man. We found the famous cemetery.
Yeah, you sent me
the
photos.
pictures that I sent you. Yeah. Let me tell you about how sketchy that place is. there's definitely some weirder stuff going on up there than just ghosts. Let me tell you that. First of all, there's two abandoned vehicles. One being your old style, typical like kidnapper van, uh, abandoned up there. And there's a little shack, which I assume was probably for like a gravekeeper at some point, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
But there was like an old, nasty, real nasty, dirty mattress inside of it. I don't know if people are, getting freaky in the little kidnapper gravekeeper shack.
Back in the day, we would have just threw a blue tarp over it, and then we would have had wrestling matches.
I mean, they're not wrong. Pretty sure you catch like Hep C or something off of that mattress, though. It was pretty dingy. One thing that's fascinating about the graveyard, though, is I couldn't imagine back in the day when it was still being used for like new burials, because that thing is on a steep ass hill. Like it's a steep incline. There's a couple what I'm assuming is like some family plots because you can tell where there used to be a fence around them.
Well, if I remember right, I think it was a family cemetery.
Yeah, I can't remember the names exactly and out of respects, but there were certainly a number of same last name individuals buried there, and you just see like where there used to be fences around some 5 or 6 different grave sites. But of course, they've washed away or whatnot, just decrepit in time. But man, I was just like, I couldn't imagine carrying and trying to bury somebody on that hill. It's a lot steeper than I imagined it to be.
Now, because the folklore was that the coffins and stuff was falling in through the tunnel at one time. Is it directly above the tunnel or is it like off to the side?
See, that's the thing. It is not directly above the tunnel.
See, we debunked something.
Well, very interesting thing. We were in the tunnel, and there's one section of the tunnel where there's some water constantly flowing and trickling into it. I'm assuming just due to like some rain and stuff that we had. But we noticed something that wasn't there last time we were there. A massive buildup of calcium. And there's a possibility, not guaranteeing it, not saying it's 100% what it is, but there's a possibility that some of that water could contain calcium from where there could be bodies in the ground, and that water could be flowing from that graveyard. Because once things start breaking down and the water starts collecting and stuff, and then it starts collecting calcium, then once it gets to its resting place where like the water starts flowing, it's just sitting on the side of the walls, and then once it dries, it calcifies.
See, I am not good at science, so like all I know is the rumors were there's like bodies falling out of the ceiling, but then when we got there, they apparently fixed it some because it was kind of like collapsing some. But like,
well, yeah, you can definitely see where they've patched up the roof and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a rails trail that goes through there. Like, I could just imagine like you're walking through there, like with your dog, and like a body just falls from the ceiling.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not directly above it. I'd say that it's more of like if you're walking from the one, not where you park at. I know the people don't know this who've never been there, but if you go all the way through the tunnel and you go out that way, so if you're looking at the tunnel from that entrance, it's kind of like diagonally left up on a steep hill. Like I said, I'm not guaranteeing that that's where like this calcium or calcification coming from, because there's plenty of minerals and stuff in the earth where the water could be running, and there's no proof that water is running directly from the cemetery. But it does make sense because it is on the area where it's leaking in is on the left side, so there is the possibility, but it can't be 100% proven.
We just go on top of the hill, start digging, see if we find anything.
Yeah, you had to go up there by all the sketchy child molester van, and
It's probably a good thing I didn't go with you because if I saw free candy on that van, I'm getting
well, it's definitely abandoned.
in.
Uh, those doors and stuff are open, windows are broken. Uh, but it's shady nonetheless. But while we were there, uh, we did some EVP sessions. We checked for any EMF spikes. We didn't get any EMF spikes this time like we had last time we were there. But there was can't 100% say it's paranormal, but it doesn't honestly make too much sense. There would be weird knocking sounds, not like water dripping, but like full on knocks.
Yeah.
And I know there's always rumors of the Tommy knockers, which is another like legend. But they weren't consistent, so it wasn't like water leaking in was causing something to bounce, into the side or anywhere, like where the internal parts of the tunnel. So like I said, I can't guarantee that that's paranormal, but it happened enough times, but inconsistently that it's something to note at least.
Yeah.
The main things were just some weird feelings that didn't get when we were there last time. And one thing that was interesting, and I thought it was funny because you brought up the whole possession thing. We found a bunch of tea light candles close to where that pyramid was on the wall.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody was in there doing seances or maybe things they shouldn't have been doing. But I had went down there twice, try to conduct some EVP sessions, and would get like a super heaviness in that area, like almost like I was going to have an anxiety or a panic attack. Could be noteworthy, could not be noteworthy because I do unfortunately have anxiety and panic disorder, but I didn't have it the whole day or anywhere else in the tunnel. But the only thing that solidifies that a little bit is maybe something out of the normal was Tammy walked down there and got a real bad sense of getting like really dizzy.
Yeah.
To the point where she kind of had to brace herself up against the wall of the tunnel. And it was just in that one area. And you know exactly what I'm talking about, where that weird pyramid is drawn on the wall.
Yeah, where we got the voice too.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Obviously, people have been doing something there because there was probably 8 or 9 like candles, like tea light candles. So I don't know if somebody was doing something. I mean, it could have been something bad, could have been just somebody trying to make contact, using them to see if maybe like something can blow out the candles, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some techniques you could use candles and stuff for. But we unfortunately didn't catch anything else on any devices and stuff we had, because we had like the light grid thing that Tammy brought with her. We had the forget exactly what it's called, where it moves fastly through AM or FM transmissions, and it said that where spirits can sometimes manipulate it to say things.
Did
Spirit box.
Did cameras batteries keep draining like last time?
We had an issue with her little grid device, and for people that may not know what I'm talking about, she has a little device that makes these bunch of green like grid lines or dots that go through, and you can see if anything breaks the beams. You'll be able to see stuff move through it. Twice she had put brand new batteries in it, and it had went dead within like minutes of turning it on. But we did have a camera recording the grid to see if any kind of shadows or anything moved through and blocked out the grid in any way, way, shape, or fashion. And we didn't catch anything on camera. But it did die suddenly, which, as Tammy said, isn't normal, because she said she's had that thing running for hours before, and she'd have it on for like 5-10 minutes, and then all of a sudden it would go dead.
Huh. See, we had that problem last time too. Like batteries just kept dying and everything.
We did have that for sure. Uh, I do wish that we would have caught a little bit more. Uh, Only other thing that we really had, we were sitting in the dark, kind of looking down at where the grid was, to try to see if we could see anything. And at one point, I thought I seen like a shadow like dip up from the ground and disappear, but I can't guarantee that because it could have just been my eyes adjusting to the dark.
Yeah, because that
Uh,
tunnel's so dark.
yeah. It didn't get as foggy this time as the first time we went. So I really wish we'd have caught something on camera because the camera footage would have been a lot clearer and was a lot clearer. A lot more bugs this time. Of course, I think it was a little bit later in the year last time we went, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think we went towards the fall because remember it was cold.
Yeah. So that probably is the reason why there was more bugs this time because, it's still summertime.
And because it was dark at like what 9 o'clock or something when we went. Like it was
Yeah.
dark early.
Yeah. But fortunately, no more evidence than that. The feelings were the biggest thing. I really thought so. Because it was just different and it was just weird that it was just in that one area. Because you could walk you get a bad feeling there, like a heaviness, and you could walk down to like a different part of the tunnel and it just felt completely normal. So that was like the oddest thing about it, really.
I know, like I definitely would definitely want to go back because it was pretty cool the first time. So I was kind of sad that I didn't get to go with you guys this time.
Yeah, well, we're definitely want to go back again. Uh, Luckily, it's not that far of a drive, so
Yeah,
it's really not that big of a problem. Takes about what, an hour from my place to get there, maybe 45 minutes.
yeah, probably.
So it's not like it's a long, long drive or anything by any means. Uh, but that pretty much summed up that trip.
Now we got
So what we'll
now.
do is we'll go ahead. How's the campfire coming? We're moving
Well,
along.
well, my foot's on fire, so I think it's time to tell a story.
Well, Donnie, I know people are probably tired of hearing me run my mouth here for like the last 15 minutes, however long it's been. So go ahead and tell us your story.
All right. So my favorite part about campfire stories is that they're folklore, and I know like my emphasis was West Virginia folklore. I want to tell I want to tell you guys stories tonight. See, the dogs are barking. As soon as it happens, dogs are barking. I want to tell you guys stuff that not particularly like really evil or like scary, just stuff that keep in your mind when you're driving by yourself. So one of the ones I'm going to say I want to tell tonight is the Flattened Man of Vinegar Hill. Have you heard this one, Troy?
I have a story which might kind of be similar to the one that you're talking about.
Oh
I
yeah,
was talking about the 13-year curse. The kids on Vinegar Hill, is that the one you're talking about?
no,
Oh, well, we got two for Vinegar Hill, apparently.
and it just so happens I don't live too far from Vinegar Hill, so I'm like, hey, uh, so I want to set the scene. I like to set the mood. So while you guys are there putting your marshmallows in the campfire, just imagine it's a stormy night and you're listening to my boy Art Bell on Old Coast to Coast, and you're driving down a narrow road. And the road is a windy road because it's West Virginia. And of course, there's no road barely flat. And as you get so far out, you notice a white mist and then eyes in the white mist as it slowly transforms. I don't know if I'd be more scared or laugh or terrified at the same time as a large flat man appears. as you rub your tired eyes, because of course it's got to be like 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning, whichever you would prefer. As you rub your eyes in disbelief, the ghost starts yelling at you and starts running up the path that you're going. As he's laughing and smacking his flat hands all the way up the hill, you make it to the top and bam, just gone. This big giant flat man just disappears.
He just like 1 or 2 dimensional, just flat.
As, so here's in my head what he looks like. Is he looks like the cartoon guy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit when he gets rolled over with the steamer. That's what I imagine.
I was thinking
And
that, or like those weird, like old cartoon.
so I don't know what's happening near me.
So give us a brief recap there, what you're talking about, and continue your campfire story. Hopefully, the fire's still lit.
Well, I mean, it's still there. I might jump it later. I don't know. Uh, so yeah. So after this flat man, who we was saying looks like the guy in my head from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, once he makes it up top of the hill, he just disappears, completely vanishes. Now, the best part about folklore is you don't know if it's true. There's always a little bit of truth mixed in with some fantasy, or it could just be completely true. I don't know. But legend goes, in the 1700s, some brothers they made homemade cider, and one stormy night, one of the brothers was making a delivery and had a mule accident. And the mule was spooked by lightning and was thrown off. Well, the barrel like pinned his leg. And of course, he was like crying for help, which this is the part I was always like in these stories, like these people cry for help. And I'm like, the brothers, like, I don't know how far the brothers are. Like, I don't know how they heard him, but eventually they hear him, but they're drunk. They're drunk as fuck. And so when they go to roll the barrel off of them, which was full of all the cider, which liquid's heavy in those barrels.
Yeah.
Instead of just rolling it off where it was crushing his leg, they roll it over him, crushing him. And he passes away because he gets flattened by this big barrel of apple cider.
He was flattened.
He was a flattened man after that. So now I didn't know Flat Man was like a ghost you could see along the road. Like, no idea that was like an urban legend. So now that is my new fear is driving down the road and like this 2D dimension Flat Man turns around looking at me with big hands clapping them at me.
Tear claps in the distance.
Especially since I'm pretty close to this location. So I'm like, hey, hey, Flat Man.
I mean, if he's that thin, I guess you could just like take a paper shredder and maybe it'll just slide down into it.
I'll just threaten him with some apple cider. He's probably scared of it now.
It's very possible.
But I've never heard of this tale, so I thought it was pretty interesting. Like, it's a little different than usually when you have roadside tales, it's, hey, you pick up the stranger gets in the car, you take them to the home that they don't live at, and or it's a cemetery they live at. Like, it's always like a hitchhiker stories. So the fact that a flat man runs up a hill as you drive behind them or beside them, it didn't specifically say, and then like laughing at you and smacking his hands, and then once you get to the top he disappears, I like it. I'm a fan.
I just think it's funny that we both have a Vinegar Hill story and they're not the same story.
I was kind of worried about that, and then and when you said that, and then once you said yours was a little different, I was like, all right, that works.
Very interesting. So my story for Vinegar Hill, there's a couple legends, but they're based around the same thing. The whole thing, as I would like to toss a baked potato on the fire, wrap it up in aluminum foil.
What are you putting on that baked potato?
You know what? I'm a basic bitch baked potato fan, man. I just like some good butter.
You gotta throw cheese and bacon bits. Now, I'm not a sour cream guy. But you give me nacho cheese and bacon bits on that. Throw some chili on there. Throw some hot dog chili on there.
Yeah, that might not be too bad, but normally I'm pretty basic when it comes to baked potatoes. But anyways, so this story revolves around not only seeing ghosts, but being cursed by them. So as the story goes, is every 13 years on Halloween, if you're, I guess, more or less unfortunate enough to be around that area on the exact date within 13 years, which I wasn't able to find an exact date from what I was looking at, because there's so many different versions of it, all around the same principle. You might stumble upon one, or what some legends say, possible two ghost boys. And if they see you, they will haunt you for 13 years till they go to find somebody else to haunt. Supposedly, reasoning for this. Go ahead, Don. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. That is like the most unfortunate amount of years too. Like by year like 7 or 8, you're just like, don't you have something better to do? Like, get the hell out of here.
But supposedly, the legend is, and according to which part of the legend to look at, like I said, there's multiple kind of versions of it from what I've seen. One is it just talks about one boy. And what happened is apparently might have something to do with those brothers and their I'm assuming that they made, cider alcohol in barrels. But apparently there's a story that a barrel like rolled off either like a cart or somewhere there down a hill, and a boy was hit and killed by it. There's also another rumor that one of the boys drowned somewhere close to there. But it's believed that if you so happen in one of those times when they apparently are done haunting somebody after 13 years, on this one particular Halloween, you could go there and you can see a ghost of a little boy that will follow you and haunt you for 13 years if you see him.
So you want to know a fun fact that's not fun, but it's kind of funny for us because we know where he lives. So Monster actually lives around that area. So Monster,
Halloween,
stay
don't
away.
be looking for little ghost boys.
Stay away, Monster.
But that little boy is just going to annoy you for 13 years, apparently.
Yeah, I feel like he would be scary for the first like 6 months, and then after that, you're just like, "Hey, man, what's up?" Like, what do you do to haunt someone for 13 years? Like, how do you haunt them after 13 years? Because I know, like, when I first moved, like a lot of people, when you first move in your house, like you hear stuff and you automatically are like, "Oh man, like what is that?" Or like pots and pans or whatever, cabinets. Yeah. Well, like I'm at the point where like my cat gets in everything. So I could hear a ghost in the kitchen and I would just assume it's my cat and not get up to check it out.
Yeah. That's all fun, but what gets you is when you're somewhere and it literally there's nothing else to make the noise, then you hear shit. That's when it gets freaky.
But if you know you're haunted by this little kid, like year 3 or 4, or like I said, 7, you're just gonna be like, Johnny, shut the hell up. Like, I know you're in there.
It's like the shit at work. We had some stuff get thrown off the shelf the other day when nobody was around it, which was always fun. When there's nobody around, that's when it's just like, huh.
If you ever leave that place, we need to go in there and like bless it, try to bless it, and it'd probably make it worse. And it pulls
Satan.
It pulls an Amityville where it sucks itself into the ground. What happened here? Well, 2 idiots went in there and tried to bless it, and it backfired.
Well, shit.
Was either one of them preachers? No, that's why it backfired.
Well, since our baked potatoes done, you got another story here for us around the campfire?
Yeah, I got a short one, and this one I enjoy a lot. No, I mean I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as the Flat Man, because the Flat Man's just funny running up a hill, but this one's more kind of cryptid. So this one is called The Phantom Dog of Peachtree. And so this event takes place it was only 3 weeks in the 1880s. And a lot of times, you know how like it's usually a black dog or like a mist type dog. This one was a brindle dog. It was a brindle collared dog. And it shows up in this town, and no one's ever seen this dog before.
So this
And
wasn't your dog. She's kind of brindle.
Juno would have been barking at everybody. She but she not she, I don't know what gender this dog is, but so the dog approached a local house where its very presence sent the owner's dogs, and you know how locals are. So supposedly it went to supposedly the dog was like the meanest dog in town, and this dog made that dog run and hide with its tail tucked between its legs. Now this phantom dog, like it never showed any aggression toward humans or anything like that. But since no one knew where the dog was, they were spooked because it just showed up, and it only appeared at nighttime. You never saw it during the day. So everyone tried to avoid going out at night for fear of running into this ghost dog. Well, they didn't know it was a ghost dog yet. They just knew it was a creepy dog that showed up at nighttime, which could have been a werewolf dog. I'm all down for that. And so some people finally was like, you know what? I'm tired of this dog. So they tried to. Now, I do not condone violence towards animals. So one person tried to throw rocks at them, and the rocks went right through the dog. And a local preacher, which this isn't very preacher-like, took a step further and I think he shot the dog, tried to shoot the dog 5 times, like close range. And none of the bullets even like affected the dog. Like he just was like, la-di-da, the bullets went through me. And for, like I said, about 3 weeks, this dog just was randomly hanging out in this town at nighttime. I guess not bothering anybody. And one night, it just disappeared and never showed up again. No one knows why.
I wonder if the preacher had like silver bullets or holy water blessed bullets.
Well, apparently they didn't work.
Apparently not.
But I mean, if the dog's not bothering anybody, I'd try to pet it. I'd be like, "Can I pet that dog?"
I mean, yeah, if it's not bothered anybody, so
Yeah. Why are you shooting it 5 times? Like it's not like it's eating your livestock or anything.
you'd be right. But you know, some people see something weird and they just decide that they gotta get rid of it.
Yep. I mean, if that other dog was mean, I'd rather have the nice dog than the mean dog.
You're not wrong. Not wrong at all. Maybe you could train it to like fetch a stick.
Probably dogs. I don't know. None of my dogs would fetch a stick. They'd play ball. You know that.
Who knows? That dog could be the bestest boy ever.
Exactly. He could be a good boy. Just want some love. He probably was like, "This town ain't petting me. I'm leaving."
Yeah, go to another town that will.
Or you want to hear? I got a conspiracy theory. Maybe the dog was a black-eyed kid waiting to get invited in.
Hey, I mean, if the black eyed kids, maybe it's a black eyed dog.
Maybe, but he was Brindle though.
Oh yeah, doesn't mean he
Brind-
couldn't. Doesn't mean his eyes weren't black.
Brindle-eyed dog. That's a new folklore I'm going to make up.
Maybe that's what your dogs are barking at, are black eyed kids.
Uh, if anything, I'd say it's a creepy ass flat man out there.
But yeah, he talked about him. He crashed the podcast for a few minutes.
Which was creepy.
Probably gonna be out there clapping, man.
I like getting clapped. It shows I'm doing good at whatever I'm doing.
You got there to bring the dogs in, and you'll just hear clapping coming up over the hill there.
Poor monster. He lives the closest to all this.
Yeah, monster, you watch out for ghost children and a one-dimensional flat man. If you hear clapping, just run.
I would die if next time I see him, he's like, I did hear clapping the other night.
That'd be funny.
Well, I'm all out of s'mores.
Yeah, and I don't have no more potatoes. But you did say you had another friends in the sky kind of story.
Yep. I figured since UFOs are real now, I guess these are true accounts. Uh, I always believed in them anyway, so I don't care what the government says. Uh, but this one's actually recent, so that's why I chose it. And remember, these are how it's completely reported. I'm not changing any of this. This is how the whole thing was written up in the report and everything. So this happened on 7/27/2023 in Dawson, West Virginia, which I looked up Dawson, West Virginia. Give me a second here because I had no idea where that's at.
Yeah, I've never heard of it either.
So Dawson, West Virginia is in Greenbrier County.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty close. No, it's not pretty close. It's not pretty close to anything, but it's in between a road from Lewisburg and Beckley, it says.
Yeah.
So
Down closer towards the southern part of the state.
yeah. So I still don't know where exactly it's at, but I wanted an idea before I went on here and was like, hey, I don't know where Dawson is. So I figured just a few seconds of research to find where it's at would help.
Opposite side of the state from where we are, up in the northeastern part.
It has it's off Interstate 64. And the weather right now is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. No. But anyways, so this happened in Dawson, West Virginia. The shape is other, duration 45 seconds, and characteristics, there was an aura or haze around the object. Okay. Glowing rocket-shaped craft. I work overnight at a hotel. Right after daylight, I walked outside. I look up and I notice what I first thought was a plane. I notice there is no exhaust or sound, and it seems to be glowing. I watch it for probably less than a minute. I see it going above clouds and coming back into view. What was clearly a rocket or some other elongated shape suddenly become a dot and disappeared as if it shot into space. So I was excited about it just because it was recent and it was a rocket shaped craft. Because usually the past couple ones, I think we've been doing like lights mostly.
Yeah. So they think it was shaped like what you typically would think would be a rocket, which is different. I've heard of like different ones like pyramid shaped, cube shaped, and then your typical flying saucer esque ones. So regular rocket one, it's very interesting.
Yeah, and it was during the day. So
Yeah, yeah. Still hoping to see something really cool in the night sky. I'm always looking. I know you've been looking at work.
I'm always anymore. I've been looking at the sky a lot more lately, especially since I've been in the space stuff. So
Yeah. Right now, I can go outside and look and see constellations, but nothing too crazy going on right now.
let's see if I can see anything. Uh, I can't see nothing right now. There looks like there's nothing in the sky at the moment.
I
Oh
mean, I see an
no!
airplane, but
Light shining in the room now.
Johnny will get abducted.
Yeah, I think time's stopping. It's been the same time for about 30 minutes. That or my clock broke.
You'll find out that Flat Man's really an alien,
Oh, that'd be a good twist.
and it's just one big conspiracy.
They need to hire us to write some movies. Like we could come up with some better stuff than what they make.
Yeah, it's funny though, but do want to give a special thanks to everybody for all the likes and follows, and tell everybody where they can listen to this podcast.
You can listen to us on. You can find us on Spotify, Podbean, TuneIn Radio, pretty much anywhere you can find your podcast, except Apple because they hate us. I think we're even on. I think we're even on Amazon Prime. I think we're on Prime now. Uh, we're on a good bit. So yeah, I mean, you should be able to find us one way or the other. Huge shout out to Captain Catfeesh. Go support them. They allow us to use their music for our intro and outro. Go to captaincatfish.bigcartel.com and buy some shirts off of them. And buy some CDs if you like what you hear. Spotify don't pay enough, so go support them.
Yeah,
And
they got a lot of paranormal based themed songs. So
yeah, yeah. If you like acoustic, they got some metal stuff. They got some acoustic, cryptid folk songs. A lot of that. Yeah, they're a real good band. We're good friends with them, and we appreciate them letting us use their music. Their shirts are pretty cool too. Like they have like a pumpkin head one. They got Alf, or they used to have an Alf one. Like they got some cool ones. So go check out their site and go support them. Trying to think what else there is. I don't know.
also, if you have any questions or concerns or stories, anything paranormal, you can always hit us up at nnpn@gmail.com. Again, that is nnpn@gmail.com. You can follow us on social media. Mainly, I believe, I keep up mainly with Facebook. I know you also check out Instagram and other stuff like that.
Yeah,
Stuff for the young kids.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I half-ass Instagram because like I'll binge it where I'm on Instagram a lot, and then all of a sudden I'm not on Instagram for like 3 weeks. So, but yeah, you can give us a like on Instagram, like you said, Facebook, email us. If you want to hear a topic, let us know. I do have plans on eventually. I've been coming up with ideas for like a season 2 shirt. So, we only make so many of those. So if you're interested in one and we do it, you might want to get one early because, I mean, once they're gone, they're gone. We don't remake them. So
Yeah, we don't. But yeah, again, thank everybody for the likes and follows. I haven't had a chance to look and see if we had any crazy new listeners in what we would consider exotic areas. But thank everybody. It doesn't matter where around the globe you are or if you're an alien flying in a ship listening. We appreciate all of it.
yeah, and I haven't really checked recently because I've just been busy and I know we reached like, give me 1 second here and I can tell you. We reached like a pretty good amount of listeners and downloads, which I was actually impressed with because I'm like, what started out like 2 people listening to us has turned into a pretty decent following, and we appreciate all of you.
Oh yeah, I'm really surprised because again, we're just 2 regular dudes who just love paranormal stuff. We're just kind of just doing this for fun, and people like it and make comments and stuff on it. So we appreciate all the comments and stuff that we get. But we will be trying to put out some more stuff with some new topics. And if you want to hit us up with anything, you can, like we talked before, you can email us, and our social media is always open. We're always checking. Don will eventually get back on Instagram. So if you shot any messages there, I apologize that he hasn't seen them. But if you're ever driving through this part of the country, the Marion County area, and it's late at night, you go up a hill, and you're like, man, is that a stick figure? Is that some kind of weird drawing? And it starts clapping at you. Just remember, it's possible that that's not normal. It's paranormal.
Cartoons, yeah, they help it subside. Don't wanna think about when we die. It's alright, it's only at night. Only feel good in the fall.